Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to my page. Welcome to my page. This is page is exclusively for gardeners, specifically beginner gardeners. My name is Daweed. This page is called Daweed the Gardener. I also have another page called Daweed the Chosen. Like I said, this one here is for gardening. Okay. A little bit about me. I'm here in Zone 8A in Georgia, and I started gardening fall of 2024. All right. I'm a retiree, served in the military for 24 years, and I started gardening actually during the quarantine of FY20, and it was actually with flowers. I started with gardenias, roses, and hydrangeas. All right. Hydrangeas, if you don't know this, hydrangeas is the drama queen of flowers. Ask somebody. And fall of 2024, I transitioned and started more so focusing on edible plants. That's your fruits and vegetables. And I still do the flowers and things too as my pollinator garden, but my main focus is with food. I started this page because I just wanted to spread some knowledge to the beginner gardener. And when I say beginner, that's anything from 1 day to 3 years. I consider myself still a beginner gardener compared to the gardening community that I follow here on YouTube. All right. So on this page, you're going to see a lot of things that I've done here. I actually have 5 in-ground beds with borders, and I have 3 areas where I have raised beds, and I actually have another bed that's specifically for the pollinators. It's all flowers, right? Um, Initially, I started that bed, the flower bed, last year, and it was all annuals. This year, I'm transitioning to perennials. So now the bed is kind of like, I'm going to say 70-30, 70% perennials, 30% annuals, right? All right. So on this page here, you'll see a lot of do's and don'ts. I'm a learner of trial and error. So I like to say that I did it so you don't have to. That's the screw ups I made in gardening. Um, Number one thing in gardening, and I tell myself this all the time, I actually beat myself up about it. Assuming. Never assume in gardening. I can't stress it enough. Never assume. Lay that pride, that ego, all that to the side. Because what you're going to do, you're going to wind up wasting a lot of resources, time, and money because you didn't assume something when you could have just looked it up, researched it on YouTube, Google, what have you. Okay. And to my seasoned gardeners, a lot of you all are guilty of this, but with assuming, you know, and I don't think it's by design. You just don't really think about it. So what I mean by that is assuming that your viewers or all of your viewers know what you're talking about or what you mean. Point is when they say what did it say about soil, right? And if you don't do anything else, you should at least amend your soil with compost, right? But the thing about that, not all compost is created equal. One point, potatoes. You have white potatoes, you got sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes is not about adding organic matter to your soil. It's more so about your soil in general and it being airy and loose than adding compost. But then when you're planting your white potatoes, yes, you add your compost to your white potatoes. Speaking of compost, not all compost is created equal. Okay. I used to swear by mushroom compost. I like mushroom compost, but it's not for everything. I messed around one time and planted blueberries, 4 blueberries, and I added mushroom compost. It wasn't until later on that season I researched and found out mushroom compost has a compound in it that turns your soil alkaline. If you know anything about blueberries, blueberries thrive in acidic soil. So I had to go and dig up all of that soil and compost and all of that and replant, you know. So yeah, never assume. All right. Fertilizer. I know I have one gardener friend of mine that I follow on here, and Miss Barbara. I can't think of the page name. Forgive me, Miss Barbara, but she always talks about testing your soil, and she's right. I'm guilty of not. I've tested twice. I need to do it more often, but what she's basically saying is because all of your flowers, all of your plants have various needs, right? One may need this, one may need that, and you going out there just applying a 10, 10, 10. That's like your basic fertilizer. When, for example, your and I hope I'm pronouncing these words right, legumes, or that's like your peas and your beans. They are fixed vegetables, meaning they provide their own nitrogen. So you don't need to go adding more nitrogen because they provide nitrogen, okay, on their own. Um, then you have things like corn, um, and I know there's some other things, but specifically corn. Corn is a heavy feeder. So yes, you're gonna initially when you plant these things out, whether it's direct sowing or transplanting, you're gonna add various fertilizers. But like as corn, you have to fertilize corn every week. You have to, yeah, it's a heavy feeder. Watermelon, heavy feeder. Yes, you're gonna add your amendments at the beginning when you're planting, but you have to fertilize it throughout the season weekly. Uh, White potatoes, that's something where you fertilize like 3 times. Initially when you plant, a second time when you're doing the hilling up. Hilling is so when you plant the white potato, excuse me, and then they start to grow. Maybe when the vegetation get like a foot tall, a little bit more, you add more soil matter to it. That's hilling, and then you fertilize that, and then third time is when they start flowering, and you add your fertilizer to your potatoes. But yeah, follow me on my page. There's going to be a lot more, but this is just my introductory to you all about what I'm going to be talking about as far as gardening. Once again, I'm Dawid, the gardener, and follow, like, and share this page. All right. All right.